Let me try and find it here.
Introducing short.
Move that there. There's a bit there where this woman's like, she says, she makes me laugh. She says, they took so much enjoyment in what they were doing. It was like, it was like they were happy and all that kind of stuff. You know.
The internet is flooded with footage filmed by the terrorists.
After seeing what they did to us that day and the joy that we saw on the social media, it struck a chord because these weren't all armed terrorists. There were people in crutches coming over. There were people in sandals coming over. Kids coming over.
The police and security forces are battling to repel the terrorists. Until they do, the festival goers hiding in bomb shelters are sitting ducks.
They just started throwing one thing after the other. So they started by the gas grenade, and then normal ones, and then strapple grenades, and then small equipment that generates heat so that people would go outside. Molotov cocktails, they would wait for all of the smoke to go down, and then they would go inside 2 to 3 terrorists at a time and just shoot everyone that was alive. Some people that were more to the front of the shelter told me that a girl was taken and that they raped her and then killed her.
Rafaela is still haunted by the memories of October the 7th. She and her boyfriend Renani had been the first ones to enter the shelter. After several hours, they were in the furthest corner from the entrance of the packed room.
We have bodies on us of people that died. They're protecting us. And I just stay there with him, close to me, like glued to me. Then the terrorists, they built a fireplace where the door is supposed to be, and they started burning a lot of the bodies. And a lot of the people trying to run outside, and we would hear them screaming and getting shot. They were having so much fun with it. It was sick to hear that and to look at that. They were just enjoying that so much.
Yeah, what she said. They're enjoying that so much, you know, and that's what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna we're gonna do that, man. When we execute recompense, you know, upon the heathen, recompense, man. Let me put it in here. When we recompense these heathens, man, especially the Amalekites, man. All right, because they got a lot to play for, man. And by the way, if you do your own research, man, they got a lot of they've got a lot of wickedness going on in there, which I can't even show you because it will get flagged up and stuff. But they're doing a lot of wickedness over there in our homeland, man. All right, they're doing a hell of a lot of wickedness, man. All right, they're doing a hell of a lot of wickedness. All right, and we're gonna have a two-edged sword in our hand, two-edged sword. You know, to recompense these heathens, in particular, in particular, all right, the Amalekites. But right now, all right, we haven't got that might because you know what, our kingdom's not here. Our commander in chief, Yahweh Shai, is on the right hand side of Heavenly Father. When he comes back, all right, and establishes his rule on this earth, all right, that's when they're gonna feel pain, man. But right now, what we can do is use the words, all right, of Yahweh Shai, because these words cut them deep, man, and facts, you know. These are all facts that I've brought out. You know, how did they get that land? It was a ruse, man. The Harava Agreement. All right. If you put this Harava Agreement here in YouTube, they might have a video, and it shows you that the whole Nazi organization was just full of them Amalekites anyway. They were working, you know, many of the top people in there. I mean, look at even the troubleshooter. There's a guy called von Munstein. He was an Amalekite himself. All right. This is how they got that Harava Agreement, man. Well, let's see this one. Let's see this one.
The Havara Agreement. On August 25th, 1933, the Havara Agreement was signed between Nazi Germany and Zionist German Jews. This pact, brokered by the Zionist Federation of Germany and the Anglo-Palestine Bank, facilitated the migration of approximately 60,000 German Jews to Palestine between 1933 and 1939. The agreement allowed Jews fleeing Nazi persecution to transfer some of their assets to British-occupied Palestine. They sold their assets in Germany to purchase essential goods manufactured there, which were then shipped to Palestine. For German Jews, the agreement offered, at least for the wealthier ones, a vital escape from an increasingly hostile environment. For Jews in Palestine, it provided cheap immigrant Jewish labor and much-needed recruitment for their local terrorist organizations. For the Nazis, it facilitated the emigration of German Jews, accomplished with the aid of Christian anti-Semites, as had been championed by Theodor Herzl decades earlier.
There you go, man. You know, see, and that's why you got this video here, the bizarre relation.
It's impossible to do a whole day's work in just
the bizarre relations between the bizarre relations between the Nazis and the Zionists. It was a big ruse, man. That's how they got that land. All right. So right now, all right, we are gonna repay them. All right. We are gonna repay the heathen. Hang on, let me get that script first. Since no. Hand, that's it. That's the one. That's the one. That's in Psalms. That's it. You know. In the end, we're gonna get them because they're a huge part of why our people are destroyed, man. You know, the entertainment industry, the music industry, and don't tell me it's not just destroying our people; it's destroying other people as well, man. You know, degeneracy, man. You know, because they're the synagogue of Satan, man. All right, this Psalms 49, 149 and 6. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth. All right, and a two-edged sword in their hand. Why are we going to have that two-edged sword hand? All right, to execute, verse 7, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, including you Amalekites, man, and punishments upon the people, man. All right, that's what we're waiting for. That's why we're waiting the Yahushua to come back. But while we're waiting, all right, we have the scriptures to cut you, man, and the history and what you're doing now. All right, you know, we got all those things to cut you spiritually, man. All right, all the facts, all your dirty plots, like the whole bullshit Harava Agreement, all of that, man, all of that. The Lord is stripped you bare, man. You're naked now, man. All right, you can't hide, man. Someone's naked and they're running around the streets, you know, they're visible to everyone. And that's what the Lord has done with the Edomites, in particular, these Amalekites, you know. And they've been kicked out 109 countries around the world in their history. Why do you think that is? You know, so right now we have the words, and the words cut them deep. Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful. All right, and we've seen it, man. All right, the brothers in LA, when the Lord first brought me in the truth, one of the first videos I saw was this Edomite came up to them, and nice looking Edomite woman, and she started crying, man. You know, after they brought out scriptures, man, and then she had the audacity to say, I'm hurt that human beings can hate each other so much. That's that's the kind of something that a serpent would say, man. Alright? For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful, alright, and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing, even dividing asunder the soul and the spirit and the joints and the marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intent of the heart. Alright? And their heart is full of wickedness, man. And they've got nothing but evil intent for our people. Okay? Alright? So they're being stripped bare, man. And these other heathens, like that woman, she was like, oh, they were, you know, they were enjoying it. They were so happy when they were doing what's it called? When they were doing this thing on October the 7th. Yeah, but I mean, look how you've treated these people, man. You know, and it's getting to a point now where, I mean, they're still warring. All right, and the news is not showing it, but Amalek's army is not doing very good. They're losing people, man. All right, I'm gonna show you here.
Heroes like Martin get a little bit more with little less, because right now.
Skip this bullshit. All right. I mean, these are people that haven't even got, you know, they've only got small arms, man. Okay. Here's some video footage of what's happening with the war. Their soldiers are not doing it very good. Yeah, their army's not doing so good, man. See, you can have all the, you know, the tanks and all this stuff, but now you've made it a demolition site. There's crevices and cracks that the enemy can hide in and can just snipe you from. They're losing so many soldiers. People are not even are refusing to even go in. You know? So Amalek's army is not doing very well, man. See, it's not looking good for Amalek's army. It's not looking good for his society. Alright. One more video and then we're going to get a couple scriptures and I'll put it to a close. Alright. So, there will be more great humbling. Like, you know, the hostages are starved, as we showed you in the early video. Their people are traumatized. Alright. And their people are divided. And a kingdom that is divided, and there is a kingdom, all right, it's a colony, man. Where is this thing? Dozens arrested. Right, there you go. I think it's this one. Oh yeah, listen, there you go. This one's the best one. All right.
His plan to forcibly displace 1 million people from Gaza.
I don't know.
Opinion polls do
And the suffering of the children.
Teachers, tech workers, retailers. And outside the Israeli Medical Association, the symbolic white coats of hospital workers.
You're a GP, so why are you here today?
We see the suffering of our people in Gaza and the suffering of the children, women in Gaza. So we come to stand. I think that most of the people in Israel want that this war will end as soon as possible.
Do you feel that your government will listen? Will any of this make a difference?
I don't know.
Opinion polls do show that the majority of Israelis want an end to the war and the return of the hostages. But how to achieve that is still deeply divisive, as we found. I have 2 children in the army in Gaza, shouts this man, when protesters try to demand he stops his car and join them.
See, they're divided. They're divided, which is brilliant, man. This is all the Lord's doing.
Facing down this bus, I meet Idit Suslik, a dance teacher.
The sole purpose of this war is to keep Netanyahu in his seat as prime minister and to realize some kind of insane Messiah plan to reconquer Gaza. The hostages have to come home. We will not be able to recuperate as a society without these 50 people.
Netanyahu argues that the quickest way to end the war is his plan to go in hard.
No, he's actually misleading the Israeli public.
But even as they demonstrated, their prime minister was pressing ahead with his plan to forcibly displace 1 million people from Gaza City to camps in the south. He had this defiant message for those who joined the strike.
Those who are calling today for an end to the war without the defeat of Hamas are not only strengthening Hamas and delaying the release of our hostages, they're also ensuring that the horrors of October 7th will repeat themselves over and over again, and that our sons and daughters will have to fight over and over again in an endless war.
You know what, when I see this guy, this clown, I look at a man that's just desperate now. You know, he is full of, he was full of bravado and stuff like that, but his corruption trial is the real reason why he's keep doing this. That's the main thing. So what that woman said is very true, because the longer that war goes on, the longer he's in power, and he's been in there for a long time. All right, and he has the hard nutcases, all right, of his followers that want to see that place flattened. All right. Oh, sorry, just yawning a bit. Now remember, all right, kings. Remember, the Lord controls all of these so-called presidents and prime ministers, which would be in the ancient world kings, leaders, clansmen. All right. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh. All right. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So what Netanyahu, all right, and by the way, he's of Polish origin. That's just another fake name, man. All right, he's a Polak, all right, and he's an Amalekite. All right, what he's doing, the Lord is controlling him, man, via Satan on the left hand side. Always remember that, man. All right, that's why whatever you see in the world, and it's terrible, it's tragic, it's bad, and all that stuff, yeah, it is, but it's the Heavenly Father's doing, and it's more reason to fear the Lord. It's more reason to obey Him. All right, and remember, all these nations, whether it be them Palestinians or them Amalekites, they've all had a heavily they've all been heavily involved in our downfall, man. All right, they came together to take us down in the slave trade. Remember, Psalms 83 tells you that, man. All right, and again, Amalek is named in here. All right, so I'm justified to do this video, man. All right, I'm justified to do this video. Okay, the Lord put it on my spirit to do this video. Okay. There you go. Let's start from 8. Psalms 83 verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. And a tumult is what? A noise, man. Alright. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. So these nations hate us, man. And have lifted up the head. All right. They hate us. All right. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, consulted against thy hidden ones. All right. And these nations came together to do the transatlantic slave trade, and before that, the Arab slave trade. All right. Verse 4, they said, come. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. All right. That's why those Amalekites call themselves Israelis. All right. They're not Israelites. You never hear them call themselves Israelites. They call themselves Israelis. I've just proven to you that there's no such word Israeli in the Bible. All right. Verse 5, they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, so they're completely against us. All right. Completely against us. So that's why you're not going to see me go out, all right, to no fucking Gaza Lives Matter protest. You know what I mean? But remember, and this is a caveat, that Israelites are scattered in all nations, including in Gaza, man. All right? Including in Israel as well, man. Okay? And as I've said this many times, I've met an Israeli doctor, you know, who said that people in Palestinians have sickle cell. And sickle cell anemia is a condition that Israelites get exclusively. All right? So, but even among the Amalekites, there must be some Israelites there as well. Because we're scattered in all nations. All right? But primarily, these nations came against us. All right? Verse 6, it says the tabernacles. All right? The tabernacle is your home. The tabernacle is the house of Edom. And who are Edom? Those Amalekites, man. Those Israelis. And the Ishmaelites. All right? I mean, the tabernacles of Edom is your average so-called cracker, right? All right? So-called white person. But if you keep going, it names the Ishmaelites, who are the Arabs. And most of those Palestinians are Arabs. Some of them are Edomites as well. Because some of them are from the Ottoman Empire. All right? That's why many of them look very white. Okay? Now, if you go down, it tells other nations here. All right? Ammon. And then look what it says here. And Amalek. And who are those people? Who are the Amalekites? Those Israelis, man. All right? So these are the people that came against us. So the Lord is hitting... The Lord is beautiful. He's he's smashing two birds with one stone. Okay? He's smashing two birds with one stone. And all of these protests and all that kind of stuff, like you saw in this clip, you know, it's sure proof that we're near the end. All right. Let's get it here. All right. This is Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. All right. And really, if you look at our people, especially back then, our kingdom was divided, man. You know, most of our people were wicked back then, and they hated Yahushua. They hated what he stood for, you know, therefore they hated the Most High. And that's why when Psalms 83 came into play, and those nations came against us, all right, some of them, the torture that was on the slave plantations in America, getting your belly sliced open, all that stuff, many of them Amalekites were doing it. All right, they were doing it, man, and we deserved it. Okay, we deserved it. Oh, that's bad to say, this, that, and the other. No, we did deserve it, because we went away from our power. If you forsake your God's ways and his rules and customs, you have no power, man. And that's how we know that we have a power that is real. Because what he told then prophets and scribes to write down and said, this is going to happen to you if you disobey me. And it happened, man. All right. Look at these other books. All right. You Arabs over there. Give me a prophecy why that's happening to the people of Gaza in your Quran. All right. It ain't in there. Okay. So you saw from that clip that even now, because they're starving the population of Gaza and their hostages are being starved with them, all right, their kingdom is divided. All right. And what did Yahushua say? Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. All right. In every city, house divided against itself shall not stand. And that's why the elect is going to be the last men standing. The reason why the elect come last men standing, because they're all going to say the same thing, and they all believe in one power, you know, the Heavenly Father, you know, His Son, all right, and their doctrine, and they're going to sit and they're going to teach the same thing. You get what I mean? So that house is not going to, the house of the elect, all right, the tabernacle of David is going to stand, and it's going to stand forever. All right. That's why it says what? The saints shall take the kingdom. All right. Let's get that. All right. The saints. The saints. It's that in Daniel. The saints shall take the kingdom, man. All right. You're not asking for it. We're going to take it. All right. We're going to take back what's ours. Okay. In Daniel 7:18, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. And there's nothing you Amalekites can do about it, man. All right. And the Lord said that, man, because they came against us, right? But we prevailed against them, you know, eventually when we came out of the wilderness. But what did the Lord say, man? Okay. This is Exodus 17 and 14. All right. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Okay. So they're going to be blotted out, man. All right. They're going to be as they didn't exist. And remember, as I showed you, they're what are they? They are Edomites, man. All right, pretending to be our people. Okay, another scripture. Let me just get it quickly. Zechariah 9:6. All right. See, Zechariah 9:6, and a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. All right, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Now, where's Ashdod? Ashdod is in Israel, man. Okay, let's try and see it. Let me get it here. Ashdod. Ashdod. There you go, Ashdod. There you go. See, a city in Israel, and it's near the sea, man. All right. You see these different images? Ashdod. You see? And it said a bastard. All right. Now, a bastard is what? An illegitimate child. All right. All right. Bastard. Bastard. Alright, let's see what the word bastard means. Bastard, definition of meaning, usually offensive, a child born to parents who were not married to each other. Alright, this sense of bastard has not always been offensive, but really, bastard is an illegitimate child. Alright, if your parents in this society, see, look, bastard definition, a person born to unmarried parents and illegitimate child. So It's said in the scriptures, it said a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. You know, see, the Lord is beautiful with the way he's poetic in his words, but his words have power to it because they're true. All right, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Who's in Ashdod right now? Illegitimate children, so-called Israelis, man. Okay, so this is all prophecy that's gonna happen, but the Lord said, all right, he will blot out their remembrance, man, and that's gonna happen. Okay, and that's gonna not just happen for them, but that's gonna happen for the whole nation of Edom, man. All right, let's go to Obadiah, and then we close it. You know, your you know, if you're Amalekite, your hope is that you're one of our people. If not, you're screwed, man. You know, enjoy your time while you you know, I mean, and the amount of brute force, you know, the amount of bombs that they're just dropping indiscriminately. This is why their society is divided now. All right, you know. Now, if you go to the book of Obadiah, this is all about the whole nation of Edom. All right, and that them Amalekites are Edomites, as I showed you. All right, I showed you earlier in Genesis 36 and 16. All right, and remember, they were what? They were dukes of Edom. All right, these are clan leaders, so they were leaders of Edom. Okay, so all this new world order, diabolical. No wonder that they're at the head of it, because history repeats itself. All right, these are the clan leaders. Genesis 36 and 16. These are the clan leaders of in the land of Edom, and who is one of them? You know, the main one is Amalek, man. Okay, they're the head honchos, man. So they're gonna This is a prophecy. This whole book of Obadiah is just one chapter talking about the downfall of Edom. All right, when we come back into power in the kingdom of heaven. All right, it tells you why. All right, let's go to verse 10. This is Obadiah 1 and 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, because they're still doing it. Shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All right. Yeah, because all that slave plantations, most of the slave plantations was done by them. You know? Okay. Let's go to verse 18, Obadiah 1:18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. So when it says the house of Jacob and Joseph, all 12 tribes, you know, northern southern kingdom, all right, we're gonna have a big bonfire, man. All right, and the stubble is gonna be the house of Esau. You're gonna be burnt up, man. All right, the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them. A kindle, you know, what is kindle for? It's for making a fire. All right, so we're gonna put them in a big pit and devour them, man. And as it says here, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord Yahweh has spoken it. So after 1,000 years of slavery under us, they're gonna go, you know, after being slaves to our people for 1,000 years, they're gonna be exterminated. You know, lit on fire. Okay, and it's justified, and I've showed you the justification. All right, and if you look at it, there's a book called I think it was by Nation Islam, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. I think it's called Jews, yeah. Yeah, book by Louis Farrakhan, there you go. Let's see if we can get some images of it. Yeah, there you go. That's the book. All right, his Nation of Islam did it. And by the way, I heard a rumor that one of his parents is Jewish, which I don't care about anyway. Whether it's the father or mother, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, all of the ones of our people that have sold out to these people, or are pretending to be our people, like that Doja Cat, she's not one of our people. Her dad is an Amalekite, I think. Okay, but this book goes in. It shows you how those people that you call Israelis, all right, basically funded the slave trade and had most of the slave ports and the ships, and the torture houses and all that stuff. All right. So this is a good book, and there's other books out there that show that. So the Lord is justified in doing that to these Amalekites, man. All right. And it's not because I have spoken it, it's because Yahweh Bashim Yahshua has spoken it. Alright? So listen, I pray that you're edified by these lessons. Until the next one, Shalom.